And Sarah, if you could take us through that, please.
Okay, good evening, everybody. So the first paper this evening is the pay policy statement, and this paper provides the council with information that ensures the Trafford Council complies with the Localism Act 2011. The recommendations to note and approve the pay policy statement for 2019-20 in advance of approval of full council on the 20th of March 2019. The pay policy statement sets out the council's own policies towards a range of issues relating to pay, and more specifically providing transparency around senior pay and the different differentials between the highest earners within the council and its lowest paid employees. The statement also includes the council's gender pay gap information, which, as you know, is required to be published annually. In summary, the pay policy statement identifies the method by which salaries and severance payments are made and determined, the detail and level of remuneration of council's most senior managers, i.e. the Chief Executive Officer, corporate leadership team and service directors, the committee responsible for ensuring that the pay policy statement is applied consistently, the Employment Committee, which has delegated powers in relation to senior management employment, the detail and level of remuneration for the lowest levels of posts and employees, the ratio of pay of the top earner and that of the median earner, and finally the council's gender pay gap. So key statistics to note within the report: the national living wage rate for 2019 is set at £8.21 per hour for those employees over 25. As of the 1st of April, pending full council approval on the 20th of March, Trafford Council's lowest rate of pay will be £9.19, with the exception of apprentices. The ratio of pay between the top earner, the Chief Executive Officer, and the lowest earner is 1 to 7.14 and is well within the 1.20 ratio as set out in the Hutton Review. The gender pay gap is 10.9% as a mean average and 17.6% as a mean average in favour of male employees, with a number of factors influencing this outcome. There is a very small increase on the gender pay gap reported in this year as opposed to previous year, and they are the main issues in the pay policy statement. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Are there any questions for Sarah?
No, okay. So we're happy for this to go to council.
Just got something to say on the policy, if you don't mind.
All right.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. I don't have any argument whatsoever. This comes every year. Virtually, a pair of us probably recite it off by heart. But the one area which I need to just put before the committee is the transparency. Yeah, well, yes, it's contained in the report, David. Well, it's a whole range of paragraphs. What I want to, well, if you want to look at page 411, it says the purpose of the pay policy statement is to ensure transparency, accountability with regard to the council's approach on setting pay, which is not an issue. The three issues which have sort of been criticised, not in this council but at other councils, has been the areas of senior officers' pay, termination arrangements, where some councils have been, so we say, rather generous, and re-engagement, where people having been given a golden handshake, coming back to work within the council. So it's really important, and it's been flagged up. Those issues must be transparent in the future. They really must. The final decision isn't taken by this committee, but although it must come through this committee, it's taken at full council, which I totally agree with. But where I can't come to terms with it is if it goes to full council and then the decision is made in the closed section. That is not transparent. It was always and always has been in this council in the open section. So I just want a recommendation from your committee, Chairman, that we're going to full council. Surely for transparency, it should be not in the closed section, but in the open section. Otherwise, we're flying in the face of transparency.
Councillor Slater, did you want to
Yeah,
make a point?
The policy is open to the public anyway. I think that when we've had stuff that's gone to council that's been that's been heard in private, it's because it's actually relating to specific individuals. So I think that on that basis, it would be appropriate for it to be held in private. But I think the pay policy is the pay policy for Trafford, and it's open to the public, isn't it?
Could I just come back on that, please? If, for argument's sake, you're talking about remunerations over 100,000, yes. If it does relate to a person, I couldn't agree more. But the policy is the position and not the person. It's the position of the chief executive or the senior officer, which is agreed by the pay policy, not the individual person. You know, at my dealings at Northwest Employers, where I was vice chairman for many, many years, that was always stressed, that it is the position that you setting the salary for and not the individual.
I think that the chief exec's salary has been advertised, and it was out. You know, people are fully aware of what the chief exec's salary is, and I think that it talks about the remuneration in here. So I don't think that is something that would ever have been held in private. I think it's when it's talking about other individuals. But I think that the chief exec's salary is open for all to see. It's there for scrutiny.
Yeah.
So, I'd be interested to know how we've deviated from previous policies within this report. I'm unsure about what you're saying, Brian. Is this policy deviating from what was done before? So you're happy with this policy?
I'm happy providing that if decisions are taken to approve this policy in open council.
Well, what I'm saying is that, as far as I understand, this has got to go to the full council, and I think you've acknowledged that. So I just don't know what you're actually saying in terms of this policy is not deviating from previous policies. You're happy with this policy, and it will go to full council. So I'm not quite sure. Are you happy or not happy with this policy? This report?
I'm happy with the policy, providing if there's any, for argument's sake, terminations or re-engagements, which is agreed, it can't be agreed by this committee. It must be done in full council. That is the purpose of the Localism Act.
Well, we're following this report is following the policy,
and
you're agreeing to it. So we'll have to do that because that will be policy.
If we have to do it, that's fine.
Well, it's policy. I mean, I don't know what the point is really, but anyway, that's fine.
Chair, can I?
For this particular paper, yes, it is. No.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the new pay structure, and again, Sarah is going to introduce the paper.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bennett. Okay, so this is an additional report to a report previously presented to this committee in December of 2018. And since that report was presented, we relation to the original proposal that was presented to council, to this committee. The revised proposal has support from both Unison and GMB for a collective agreement. The Constitution requires that the approach is approved of full council, which is scheduled for the 20th of March, hence why this paper needs to be heard here first. So key points to note. Agreement was reached between the national employers and the NJCTU side on rates of pay applicable to support a 2-year pay deal, including the introduction of a new pay spine effective from the 1st of April 2019. A bottom rate of £9 per hour based on a 37-hour a week was agreed. Recognition of future changes to national minimum wage were also taken into consideration. Renumbering of spinal column points in recognition of amalgamated old spinal column points 6 to 17 to create new spinal column points 1 to 6 inclusive. Equal steps of 2% between each of the new scale points 1 to 22 inclusive. And if adopted by Trafford Council, a minimum hourly rate of £9.19 per hour, excluding apprentices. The following design principles were maintained as per the previous report, in that there would be minimal impact on colleagues, 5 spinal column points as a maximum band, no overlapping bands, increment first then assimilate to the new pay spine, no job evaluations, equality compliant, and minimum impact on budgets. If I could refer you to section 3 of the report and specifically the amendment. To recap on the process undertaken to arrive at the new pay structure, a pay modelling exercise was undertaken to identify the cost impact to the council's salary budget for staff on bands 1 to 5, who are in the main affected by the changes proposed to the introduction of the new 2-year pay award and new pay spine. Section 4 details the recommendation. Since the last employment committee, further discussions have been held with Unison regional officers who have raised some concerns over the implementation arrangements that introduce the scale points in some grades. Their concerns centred around the increased length of time it would take an employee to reach the top of some grades. Therefore, following discussions with the trade unions, a revised approach has been proposed, and I'm pleased to say the trade unions are now in agreement with our approach to implementation of the NJC Pay Award as set out in Appendix 1 of this report. There is no change to the overall costs to the council, including schools, of adopting the new pay structure. Therefore, in conclusion, the revised proposal offers a robust and equitable pay structure where there is no financial impact to our colleagues and meets our aspirations to pay above the real living wage and the national minimum wage applicable from the 1st of April 2019.
Thank you. Any questions for Sarah on this report? Could I just say, I think it's an excellent report, and I think it will be very welcome by our staff, and I hope it aids retention of our employees going forward. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you for all the hard work that officers have put into this report. And I think it's really commendable that there's been no job evaluation exercise undertaken by Trafford whilst they've been doing this. I think it's also commendable that we have no overlapping grades, which obviously cause equality issues going forward. So well done to everybody who was involved in this, and thank you very much.
Yeah, just to echo that, it's been a while coming down the corridor. The legislation was first introduced, but well done.
Yeah, I'll make sure I pass on those comments to the officers involved, of which case is one. Yeah, thank you.
I haven't received any apologies for absence, but if any members have got them, can they make Alex aware? Thank you. So we recommend that this does go to full council on the 20th. Thank you again. Thank you. Is there any other business? No? In that case, the meeting's closed. Thank you.